Parenting is a state of temporal flux. Time races ahead as my boys Hitchcock zoom to the end of our street. It often feels like I'm falling at terminal velocity into the future. And yet a simple moment like holding Lux's tiny hand, or Theo placing his head on my chest, makes me feel so focused on the present that time stops. In that crystalline present, I feel my love send a gravitational ripple like a shockwave into the universe. I often say making a vinyl record can arrest time and capture the ephemeral like an insect in amber. This act of creation is forever.
It's been 4 months since Never Records Sarasota, and yet I still have this need to testify. I have that feeling with every Never Records. Today I want to talk about Tony Dertouzos, who was an avid record collector who came to Never Records 4 or 5 times, and I was so deeply moved by his enthusiasm for the project that I befriended him and would send him mixtapes. The interesting thing about Tony is he was in the last battle with glioblastoma, which is the really aggressive form of brain cancer that John McCain had. And when I first met Tony, I noticed he was wearing a headscarf with tubes attached to something on his belt, and I assumed that it was some sort of drainage from surgery. But he later explained that it was actually a new targeted therapy where they zap the site of tumor formation with a specific frequency that disrupts the tumor from forming, which is incredible. It's like a form of sonic healing or sonic weaponry to use to fight against cancer. In any case, I struck up a friendship with Tony, and when I returned to Sarasota in June for a command performance, a week of extra cutting, I said to him, we need to make you a record. You have 7,000 records, but you have never made a record yourself. And he initially balked at the idea and said, well, what would I record? I'm not a performer. And I came up with this idea. He'd been being prescribed so many medications and procedures. Wouldn't it be fun if he prescribed songs for his family, friends, his grandkids? A song for when you want to celebrate, a song for when you want to get over heartache. And he loved the idea. So one night back in June, I drove up to Bradenton from Sarasota, and his wife Amity and Tony hosted a little dinner, and we did this interview, which is just incredible. And one of the things that so deeply moved me about Tony was how positive he remained in this life and death battle. He had such a grace that it kind of made you want to be around him, in the sense that if he was facing this mortal battle between life and death, but yet could be so full of grace, how could that teach us? It's hard to describe, but I was just so deeply moved by Tony that I wanted to make a record for him. And later, in the end stages of his battle with cancer, Amity and him watched the video that I shot, that I'm about to show you, and listened to the audio that I recorded as a way of, passing the time and getting their minds off what was happening. And then Amity later contacted me and said that they played the record at his funeral, which was so deeply important and such an amazing way. As artists, a lot of what we do is rhetorical, in the sense that we put it out into the world without any input or feedback from the audience that we're presenting it to. And a lot of times that's by design or by choice. You know, art is such a narcissistic practice sometimes. But with Never Records, it's more than that. The whole basis of Never Records is this fellowship of making something together jointly, and this sharing of ideas and philosophies, and it's just so deeply important to me and deeply moving to me that I was able to, you know, in some small, tiny way, help Tony during this incredibly difficult time.
Buying vinyl all the time. I'm like, that seems pretty cool. So I go to the college bookstore, my college bookstore, and they had a record rack, and the records kind of just, they were nice, flat, they were organized. I was in a mechanical technology program, so everything looked very geometrical and symmetrical. I was like, those are really cool. So I bought my first record, the CSNY, didn't have a turntable. Then I must have been probably in my senior year. Then I graduated with a associate's degree, spent every dime I had on stereo equipment, one of which is still that Denon turntable and the Grado tone arm that I still have 45 years later. And that's what I know. But I couldn't think of the first record. It took me forever to think of what it was, and it was that one from the SUNY Farmingdale bookstore. Yeah. State University, Crosby, Still, Nash and Young.
Oh.
They're sitting on the.
Yeah. I was sitting there going.
Because I'm you know, you have this second chance at life thing. So now I'm taking advantage of. You guys never heard the first album that I ever listened to, right? So, okay, Dad, what is it? And then I played the song like 3 times, I think.
What song?
It was Dark Star.
So what does that song mean to you?
That's the other part. You know, I don't, it was just the memory of hearing it for the first time and playing it 1,000. I probably could wax on eloquent about what it meant to me back then. Today, it just seems all gone. There was a part about the cathedral in there that you picked up on, about Catholicism today. Yeah, they were ahead of their time. And it's a beautiful cover too. They're just hanging out on the back of a yacht, nice black. Yeah. I didn't have to go deep at all. Like I'm not going to pull out this. This is feel good music to me. The Jackie's Pal album. I didn't have to go deep at all. You go back to 2010, maybe, no, 2019. You know the drum beat band or EDM band, Rudimental?
No, but maybe.
Oh, can we play? Are you allowed to play anything or no? I'm not allowed to move.
No, we don't really have time.
Rudimental, there is not one song on there that wouldn't make you get up and dance and feel good about yourself, feel good about life. There's a song, one of the first tracks on there, I think with Jess Glynn, might be Let's Celebrate Our Differences. I mean, banger right out of the chute. So I don't have, and then if I want to go back another layer, I think of Stevie Wonder's As, right? Where everybody thinks it's kind of he got into that car wreck in the 70s, I guess, and he was going to quit. And then he comes out with that massive album, Songs in the Key of Life, and As, everybody said was supposedly a love song that he was, but it's really his affirmation of love of life, because most of the things that he's singing on there can't really happen, right? Rainbows, whatever they're doing, eclipsing. I can't even remember some of the lyrics, but that song is a song that should go on forever, right? And it kind of does, doesn't it? As, but yeah, I mean, if that doesn't bring you back from whatever's bothering you, those 2 records, it's pretty bad. But at random, like I don't go looking for the song. I just make sure that my life is full of music. I take advantage. I've spun probably, so after the surgery in September, right where they removed the tumor, I had probably a 6-week recovery, maybe longer. They had to wait until the brain recovered so they could start the chemo and radiation treatment. I probably spun more records than I did my entire high school career on that turntable. That there is a record cleaner that cleans both the top and the bottom of the record, and then it vacuums down the sediment. When I was using it in high school, the tray that pulled the sediment down would just evaporate by the time I used it the next time. I was emptying it almost every day during the recovery. And I had the best recovery ever, Ted. I can't tell you. Not a stitch of pain, not a stitch of pain. And it was all day long music, and you can't tell me that I'm not filling up whatever that space is with tunes and vibes that are help. There's a connection. I would love to hear how the medical community defines it, because I have not, but there's definitely a connection. I wake up at 3 a.m. because of the steroids. I didn't realize, Emily's not there because she can't get any sleep when I get up, so she's sleeping in the back right now. I could turn the radio on. I could start playing music. So I just start playing music. I'm doing exercises, and if I would play music all day long, what happens when you leave to go on?
Goes up. Music comes
Yeah.
up. Music goes up.
Yeah. So I've had a couple of bad breaks. I haven't had a lot of relationships in my life. Maybe I can count them on one hand. But I had one that I thought was a pretty bad break. We looked like we were heading down the path of getting married, and we had a big breakup. And my go-to record was Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill. Right? Even though that's not what she intended, but just the fact of trading places. So you see how I feel about the breakup. That's what I thought about today. Say that's the record. Otherwise, it's more organic. What's happening now in my life is I'm listening to so much more music that I wanted to hear, that I'm getting the variety that I want, which I think I might have found the psychological triggers to why this is so varied back here the other day. That I'll find the ugly cry song, about my condition or what the future holds, because, I'd be an idiot if I said I'm not worried about what's happening, but I'm not afraid of the disease. I'm afraid of losing Emily. I'm afraid of losing the kiddos. So, I went to see a bluegrass musician, a young guy called Billy Strings. My friend surprised me with tickets. And he's got a song, In the Morning Light, that just crushes me every time I hear it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So that's the way it's been happening now. It's organic, ugly cry, because the song is connecting with me. I'm like, wait, that lyric is actually really relevant to what I'm going through right now. So I don't have an arsenal that I usually go to and pull from. And it's streaming, which I don't do. I'll do. I buy all my downloads. I won't stream until I start paying the artists fairly. So I'm download. Yeah, I am downloading every tune. So I'm getting that quote up there from a book called what is it? Dust and Grooves. It's almost like Instagram printed. He talks about how I don't have genres and favorite top 5. My tribe doesn't do that. I couldn't name my top 5 albums in a million years. It might make my head explode. But I love it all. You went to the trouble to create it, 3 stars automatically. I may not listen to it again, but you went to the trouble to create it. I couldn't do that. You figured out how to do it. You put it out there. It's coming from your soul. For me, that's the beauty of music right there. No, so this is actually, I've got 4 transducer arrays taped to my head, like on big bandages. They're beaming electrical current from one side to the other that triangulates on the tumor, where the tumor started, because it has a tendency to stay where it is, doesn't move around. And it's disrupting the mitosis of the cancer. It's on the same frequency as the cancer cells, which are a lot more rapid than your normal cells.
What frequency is that?
I don't know, it's pretty high. Yeah, maybe not. And the cells have trouble either dividing perfectly and die, or they divide, they die in the process. Yeah, it's been FDA approved for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years. So it hasn't been out there long, but it's a prescription device. So I think this is about maybe a 60 volt NiCad battery, and the pads have, I don't know if you can see, like little nodes.
Yeah.
Just electrical current beaming from this one to the one behind it. Amity applies them we take them off twice a week. So my head.
You irritate your skin after a while? Or?
Yeah, I'm actually doing pretty good with it. I get a 6-hour break twice a week, so that's why I came.
Do you feel it?
They
when
feel
it's on?
a little warm, but no, not terrible.
But you don't feel.
No pain, no nothing. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. What is that called?
It's called Optune, and now they're in clinical trials for lung cancer, where they put them on the front and the back of the patient. Yeah, doing the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't seem to get a lot of attention from, the traditional oncologists, the radiation oncologists. That in the beginning, I think everyone thought it was kind of snake oil. They said, but the FDA has the data on it that it actually works. So, and for maximum benefit, you need to wear it 75% of the time. What percentage do you think I'm at? 90. So I am wearing the piss out of it until somebody says it's not working. The F in the BFF, it's not just a catchy letter. It's forever. Yeah. It's the one thing I feel like I've actually been good at it, and I didn't really realize until, especially now, with all my friends reaching out to us and helping and meeting people like you. The love I'm getting right now just proves it, that I know people. I probably didn't take as much advantage of it, but I did meet Amity, and I do have Max and Madeline. So that's what, if it just got me that far, that would have been enough right there.
Quite the tribe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we didn't really realize how much of a tribe we had until.
Yeah. And then Amity's got a keen eye too, so she weeds out all the chattel. So.
Word on the street is everybody at that museum loves you.
Oh, that was nice.